Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. We are coming off a rather interesting and epic War Games, I would say. I know we didn't have a plethora of matches, but we had four matches, two marquee War Games matchups, one being a star-studded lineup in the men's War Game matchup. And man, honestly, I feel like this War Games, at least to me personally, was a little bit underwhelming compared to the last 2 years. Just felt like there was more story, more like different paths that were being taken coming off of the story from last year and of course 2 years ago when the man himself, CM Punk, had returned. I don't think WWE is going to be able to top that just because of the whole ending of that Survivor Series for a little bit. We got someone that we never expected to be returning and come back anyways. So I think things get very, very interesting moving forward. I also believe that now we are going to get kind of what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Which route are we going to be taking? Where are we going to go with this? Obviously, we are now in the month of December. This means that, of course, in about if 10 days, 12 days, John Cena will officially be done and his retirement tour and retirement will be over. That is very huge. John Cena and the WWE have clearly been milking the hell out of his whole retirement. Hey, this is what's going on. Of course, the first half of it was the heel run. Now we've been on this face run. The face run's been fire. Don't get me wrong. The heel run was a roller coaster, to say the least. The face turn, ever since he became a face, I think he's been putting on some pretty decent matchups. I'm sure if they could go back and repeat and do things differently, they would. I know that's something very, very big. Most likely why they, they just went about it the way they did. I didn't really wasn't a huge fan of the heel run. However, now that we're getting to basically, I mean, we're in the fourth quarter. We might be honestly even at the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter. And this is it. This is everything about John Cena, guys. I mean, you tell me, who do you guys want Cena facing? Gunther, the favorite, I would say, and probably the pick for most people, including myself, up until now. Because I was also on the Gunther boat until I saw who advanced on the other side. The other side, the person who advanced, was not Jey Uso. It was actually L.A. Knight. Yeah, now that is something I'm down for. Because L.A. Knight, my man, I think ever since the little punishment he's been on, let's just say, not being part of the War Games matchup, not being here or there, still has momentum behind him, but it seems like someone is trying to hold him back. I'm unsure if this is going to be part of storyline or if legitimately he's pissed off executives and higher ups and they're just like, hey man, you can't do that. This is what's gonna happen for the next couple of weeks. LA Knight is now here, kind of got thrown into the tournament. I actually thought LA Knight was gonna be eliminated first in the tournament just as another layer to that punishment, but LA Knight is now in the finals, guys. This man has beaten, I thought, the second favorite in Jey Uso because of the way Jey Uso was just advancing and going through. But LA Knight overcame it. He beat Jey, and now he's going to face Gunther on SmackDown in the finals in order to determine who's going to be facing the GOAT, John Cena, at Saturday night's main event. Oof, this is about to be very interesting. My pick officially, ladies and gentlemen, I am getting off the Gunther boat. I hope I don't regret it, and the ring general does not make me regret this, but I have a weird feeling that LA Knight is about to pull out an upset. Yeah. Now, reason why I'm saying this now, just think about it, right? Gunther, he's already had the world title. Not once, but twice. He's had record-breaking IC title run, which we all know was phenomenal. No problem with that. Of course, we also know the simple fact that Gunther is established, man. No matter where you put him, he is going to be on top of the pedestal. He is one of their top guys. It will remain one of their top guys. I feel like LA Knight is more developing still. So while LA Knight is developing, why not get my man a shot at trying to retire the GOAT? Can you imagine what type of momentum and rocket would be put on LA Knight's back if heading into the next PLE in the Royal Rumble, LA Knight gets a W against John Cena and retires him? Of course, out of respect, this, that, yada, yada, yada. But let's just say, for example, for a second, guys, LA Knight not only retires Cena, but now LA Knight has some momentum going into the Rumble, and we don't know where that's going to lead. Now, speaking of the Rumble, right? The Rumble is obviously happening in Saudi. There's a lot of things that's happening with the Rumble as it is already, right? So, I think, of course, one of the favorites to win it is most likely still going to be Roman Reigns. Of course, we saw at the end of Survivor Series War Games that Roman is eyeing both the titles, of course. He helps pick up CM Punk, fist pounds him, kind of show respect. And it seemed like he was going to help Cody. And I don't know, maybe it was like a lazy effort for to help Cody up or something like that. That's why Cody got pissed. But he came up quite frantic and a little bit heated, it seemed like, and pissed. And Roman's just telling him, like, hey, we ain't teaming up again. And obviously, I think now Roman is basically telling Cody, I'm coming after your title, whether you like it or not, type of deal. So, this is where, at least in my opinion, things get interesting. So, does this mean we're leading up to the Roman versus Cody 3 at WrestleMania? Also, what roles are both guys going to play? I just don't see Roman turning back into a full 100% heel. And truth be told, I don't see Cody turning into a 100% heel. And you really don't see a lot of face versus face WrestleMania big marquee matchups. Maybe we're going to have a little bit different this year. Possibly. I'm not really sure, right? What makes all of this very unique and interesting is if that's happening on one side, what is CM Punk going to do? What I heard initially was that Punk was supposed to face Braun Breaker, right? At Mania, apparently. That's what I was told. But I don't see that happening. I actually think, and I don't know, I think CM Punk's opponent is still TBD. Or it may not even be CM Punk who's champion going into Mania. I have a weird feeling that's what's about to happen. Because, of course, first ever Rumble happening internationally. The Saudis, we know, they pay big money to have big premium names in certain things, right? Of course, they're going to want CM Punk to show up. Punk is now defending his world title against Braun Breaker on Raw, Jan 5th. 1 week. First Monday Night Raw of the new year. As we know, the first Raw of the new year usually turns out to be something crazy happening. I mean, it could be Braun walking out as champion. Force Punk to kind of go on this hunt again. He goes into the Rumble now. You get Roman into the Rumble. You get like guys like LA Knight, Sami Zayn, freaking, I don't know. You get like Gunther's. You get all these guys, hype guys is basically what I'm saying, right? Into the Rumble that makes this Rumble as marquee and high as they can. I think that could be possibly a thing. Now, what's throwing me off is, of course, Roman's gonna have Cody. Roman could win the Rumble, of course. I don't see Punk winning. If Punk does need to get into the world title matchup, if he does need to win anything like that, of course, he has the Chamber happening in his hometown of Chicago. But again, he would only need that if he loses the title from now until Mania. That one asterisk I'm seeing is that Braun Breaker matchup. And let's say he gets through Braun Breaker. who's he supposed to face at the Rumble? That could also be a marquee matchup where he could lose. Remember, in the past, guys, CM Punk has lost his WWE title at a Royal Rumble, where we did not honestly think, but he did end up losing it. In my opinion now, that's what makes this interesting. Are they literally kind of hinting and getting us prepared for CM Punk to lose it, Braun Breaker to go on a run, and then he would obviously take it? In my opinion, Braun Breaker can most likely keep the title for a little bit until, of course, the guy who was the former leader of the Division comes back and most likely wants his title back in Seth freaking Rollins. I think that lineup, that story kind of writes itself. We get Punk going back on this hunt, or whatever the situation Punk wants to do. Or we can also even get new challengers. Of course, LA Knight is still in the background trying to get a world title. We got Sami Zayn on SmackDown trying to get a world title. Jey Uso wants his title back. Gunther, I'm sure, wants his title back. I'm hearing that apparently rumors are Finn Balor's going to have a good 2026 this year. I know I heard that about 2025, but I mean, he didn't have a terrible one. I'll say that. I am looking forward to 2026 if it is going to be about the Balor Club, indeed. So, I don't mind it at all, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see how things are going to go moving forward. This Survivor Series was the final PLE of 2025. Triple H said that it was a banger after banger this year. I have to rightfully and respectfully disagree to that point. I think there were a few bangers in the middle, but man, we had a lot of stinkers with them. Let's not tell lies to ourselves. Will there improvements need to be made? Yes. Will improvements need to be made? I hope so. Now, all we can do is tune in and find out. You know what I'm saying, guys? My main thing, though, is WWE doesn't seem like they have anything unraveling after the John Cena thing. Of course, now we got the Punk versus Braun Breaker the world title matchup announced for the first Raw of the new year, but that's just a matchup. We know that storyline going on. We're going to need to start developing more stories going into the new year and, of course, going into the Rumble that is happening at the end of January. I think there's a lot of question marks and there's a lot of things that need to happen, could happen, will happen type of deal. Let's just stay tuned and find out, man. I mean, I don't know what I'm expecting. I just hope that WWE knows what they're doing after John Cena does retire. I mean, yes, we have been on this retirement tour for Cena and been going through everything up and down and all that stuff, right? But like at the end of the day, we still need to see what are we going to do after John Cena is done and retired. Question is, what is the plan? Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have any ideas or some things you guys would like to see, let me know. Let Pipe Bomb Sessions know. Let the world know, and then we'll talk about it and discuss it here on our weekly episodes. We don't mind at all. Please give some suggestions. I appreciate it. But overall, guys, that's pretty much the recap and this week's episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. As usual, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it so much. And don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, as you guys always do. Thank you so much. And don't forget to share your thoughts on some of the topics today. I'd love to know where you guys think WWE is headed after John Cena retires. Thanks, and I'll talk to you guys next week.